Okay, the objective of this module is to provide basic procedures and policies to start a new Pathfinder club and also to maintain a club that is already operational. The outline of this module, we have the first section that is committees and staff that presents the steps to organize a Pathfinder club and the Pathfinder committees. And the other section is the operating policies that will present the uniforms, finances, reporting, membership, and insurance. How to organize a Pathfinder club. We have around 10 steps to organize a Pathfinder club. First step is to talk to your pastor and church board to explain your intention to start a Pathfinder club, to present your plan and objectives. And you also have to talk to your area or district coordinator to present your plan so that they can accompany you while you are going through the process of starting a new club. Third step is the nomination part. So the church board or the church committee, they get together, they approve the organization of a Pathfinder club, and also they elect the Pathfinder club director and the Pathfinder club deputies. Right after that, there is a document that we have. That is the Pathfinder club charter application. So this document is the document that when you are starting a club, you have to fill it out. So you can send it to the conference to register for your club. I apologize because my documents are from the Ontario Conference Pathfinder Council. If you are from another part of the country or another part of the world, I would invite you to consult with your conference representative to have the proper documents that are ready for you. So as you can see, we need the date that the church board approved to have a Pathfinder club, and we need signatures of some members of the church board as well. Fourth step is to inform the congregation about the plan that you have to start a Pathfinder club and to invite the interested parties to an information meeting. The next steps that we have are to elect other Pathfinder staff, the elected local youth leader, the director and the deputies. They are forming the executive committees that will do this election. All members of the staff, whether you are instructors, counselors, director, deputy, any person that is working in the club is encouraging to attend the Pathfinder basic staff training like the one that we are having now, that is presented by the conference. That is to give your staff the tools to know how to work in the Pathfinder club and to help you to have a fully operated Pathfinder club. And the last step that we have here, that is step 7 of 10, the executive committee called a meeting to plan the yearly program of the club. So it is always good to have a yearly program at the beginning of the year instead of having it in the middle. That will give you a clear vision and that will help you to go through your year with everything set up correctly. Step 8, present the plan to the Pathfinder staff meeting and set a date for opening night. The opening night is the enrollment night for the new Pathfinder club. Step 9, advertise the program at least 4 weeks before opening night. Step 10, write letters and give personal invitation to the potential Pathfinder families. I will come back to the advertisement part. We have a suggested plan for advertising. It is always best to have people exposed to the information as much as possible so that when the time comes, you will have a good attendance and you will be able to proceed more successfully. So 4 weeks before, make sure that the enrollment day is in the church bulletin announcements. 3 weeks before, plan to have attractive bulletin boards available. You can use videos, pictures, photos, use your creativity. 2 weeks before, visit the Sabbath school for junior and early teen to make the announcement, because it is a great time that a for you to get in contact with the kids that will become the Pathfinders. It is also the good time for you to use the mission and phases period, and also for the director to send a letter to the potential Pathfinders. A letter will go a long way because people feel like the invitation is really personalized instead of a mass invitation that has not everybody, instead of a mass invitation that doesn't concern everybody at the same time. And 1 week before, you can have a church and service emphasizing program, and you invite the community. So it is also an opportunity to witness. On registration day, your enrollment day, all the staff should be introduced, instructors, counselors, deputies, and all other staff. It is also the moment to make sure that all the proper Pathfinder forms are correctly filled and received by the club staff. Pathfinder registration form. This is the membership document, the one that I have from the Ontario conference. So this one, in this one, the Pathfinder parent fill out the form, give the information, the address, and so on. And they know as well, and in the club, you fill out the registration fee that is received, the club dues that are received, and then the total payment. That will help you to follow what is going on. In the bottom part of this form, we have an approval by parents or guardians. That is kind of a consent form where they commit themselves for the Pathfinder to be part of the club and for themselves to contribute as much as possible. The second one is also important. It's a Pathfinder medical form. In this document, you will have the information about the doctor, the information about the medication that the kids are taking, the information about the medication that are allowed to administer if something happened in the club. So this document is really important for us. And it's also a document that is important to have with you every time that you are doing an outing with your Pathfinder club. This information, you should have it in hand. Next one is the Pathfinder consent form. That is one of the documents that you can have. The Pathfinder consent form, you can have a general one where the parents consent for their Pathfinders to be part of the club. But when you are having a special activity like an outing, a camporee, your Pathfinders are participating to a Pathfinder Bible experience or camp out or any other outing, you should have a separate consent form for each of them to have the guarantee that the parent or the guardian did consent for the kids for the Pathfinder to be part of this activity. The media release form is also important. This is a document that we need because when we are doing activities, we do take pictures, we do take videos, and when we are doing activities like that, we need the parents' authorization so that we can use the pictures and the videos. Let's remember that we are taking care of kids, we are ministering to kids that are ages from 10 to 15. So they are minors, we do need this authorization to proceed. The next part of the registration day is that this calendar that you worked on with your staff, you will present this calendar to this meeting so that people know what is coming, what is going on, so that when your clear vision is shared with the parents and it's shared with the church board, it will be easier for you to have people supporting you and supporting your club. It's really important. Explain the program, what it is, what is involved, and how you are taking care of discipline. Anything that is useful, it needs to be in this meeting so that everybody starts with the right foot. Also, you have to have samples of uniforms, activity diary, workbooks, and also some staff and Pathfinders in uniform. When you see someone in uniform, that catch their attention. They will come and they will see, oh, my Pathfinder will have this uniform on. It looks like this. This is the meaning of this uniform. So I have to get the uniform to my kid. This is the book that they will work with. This book, they have to do this and that and that. What is my part as a parent to help my Pathfinder with it? And what is my part in making sure that my Pathfinder can be on time in attendance? So so it's suggested enrollment program, because we talk about all of this. Uniform needs and requirements should be explained. Dues should be explained as well. They should know what the money they are paying is for. I'm sure that you as yourself, if I'm asking you for $50, you will ask, what are you going to do with the $50? Because I need to know that I spend my money the right way. Program highlights shared, we have to share it. And we have to present the staff organization, what is the position that we have, why we do have it, and staff members should be introduced. So if they are giving the dues, they know that they have to talk to the treasurer, they have to know who the treasurer is, and they have to talk to the director, they have to know who the director is. The instructors are giving honors or teaching a class to their kids, they know who is in the staff and part of the ministry as well. So Pathfinder membership application and medical filled out and handed in. We talked about that. Make sure that at the end of the meeting, you do have your Pathfinder membership application correctly filled and all the medical information that you need for the Pathfinder. Pathfinder organization. Pathfinder organization. All Pathfinders are placed in units and classes. Units, no more than 8. If you have 9, split it in 2, 5, and 4. 8 is the maximum that we can handle in a unit. And if you want to keep your counselors, don't put more than 8 in your unit. Unit members have to choose a captain, a scribe, and a unit name. Unit counselor, instructor, they will have to introduce the law, the pledge, and the curriculum. When they are introducing it, please don't just recite it. Explain or have a conversation with the Pathfinders about what it is, and so that you can make sure that they understand what it is and how it can apply to themselves. Because we can read something and we don't feel part of it. They have to feel how they can be part of this law, the law, how can I live it, the pledge, how I can live it, and the curriculum, what I will have to learn, what I will have to work on, and so on. Engage Pathfinders in a game to get to know each other. It is always easier when the Pathfinders do know each other. Sure, that will give you some trouble because sometimes they will make fun sometimes on you, but they will have a unity together that will make them come to the club so that they can be with their friends, have fun with their friends, and learning with their friends. So, parent meeting. For the parent meeting, we have information for the parent meeting. We need to discuss the program with the parents. We need to serve them refreshments. We need to also give them, talk with them about the expectation that we have for their participation in the club. And then at the end, we assemble them and we pray together and we let them go. Always always give them a space to ask you the questions, because when you answer the question, that gives them that might calm the fears that they might have, because they are more knowledgeable about what is going on in the club. After the enrollment date, it is time to start planning for induction that should occur approximately 3 weeks after the club opening. You have to make sure to contact your area coordinator or your district coordinator if you don't have an area coordinator to plan this event. In Ontario, when it is the first time that a new club is having an induction, it's the area coordinator that is leading it. So make sure that you always have a conference representative, because if you don't have one, we do not consider that it is official. So it's always good to be in contact with your area coordinator. And if you cannot find your area coordinator, contact your district coordinator. Okay? It is also the time for the counselors to visit the Pathfinder homes. And remember, as much as possible, you have to keep the communication lines open between the club and the community and the church. As a ministry, we are called to witness in the community and in the church. We have to keep the lines of communication open. Pathfinder committees. The Pathfinder committees are the 3 committees that we have. The Pathfinder committees, we have three types of Pathfinder committees. The smallest one, that is the most critical one, I would say, is the coordinating committee that has the director, the deputy director or deputy directors, the secretary, and the treasurer. And next, we have another, apologies, I don't understand what's going on with my presentation. Okay. And the next one that we have is the Pathfinder Executive Committee. The Pathfinder Executive Committee has everybody from the coordination committee in it, meaning director, deputy director, secretary, and treasurer. And they also have the chaplain, the pastor, that is anyway ex officio, and the youth sponsor or the youth elder that they assigned to your club in the church. And the last committee that we are talking about is the Pathfinder Staff Committee. That is what I call the the Pathfinder Committee at large, because it involves anybody that is involved in the Pathfinder staff. So we have people from the coordination committee, director, deputy director, secretary, treasurer, and we have people, and we have the elder as well. And we also have in the Pathfinder Staff Committee, counselors, junior counselors, instructors, and unit captains that might be invited as well. So if we have questions about how to start a Pathfinder club and the Pathfinder committees, I invite you. This is the time. I will take 2 or 3 questions for now. Let's see. Yes, I have time to take a few questions for now, for this part.
I just want to clarify, like the first step in organizing the Pathfinder.
Okay, the first steps is to actually discuss with the church pastor and the church board or church committee, so that you can actually let them know that you have the intention to start a new Pathfinder club for the church. So we are talking about churches or companies that do not have a club for now. So you talk to them and you let them know what your intentions are, and they will ask you questions and so on. And after that, you will have to come back and then actually come with the proposition to start a Pathfinder club in your church. When they vote this proposition, when they approve this proposition, it is also good to actually elect the director and the deputy directors so that they can start working on the process. That is the part for the church. And you also have another part that is to contact the area coordinator. You might not know who is the area coordinator or the district coordinator. At this time, you can directly contact the conference, in my case, the Ontario Conference, and ask them and let them know your intention and who you are to talk to if you want to start a Pathfinder club, and they will direct you to the proper person to talk to.
Within the organization where you said the counselors visit the Pathfinder homes, is that when you just start the club, or is that something that you continue as you begin the club each year with new Pathfinders coming in?
Excellent question. This is something that is good to continue, because when you develop a relationship with the Pathfinder family and the Pathfinder himself or herself, it is really good to continue this relationship with them, as you are the closest person to them when they are dealing with something. You will be able to support the Pathfinder in this way. And please remember that when you are, as a counselor, you are planning to contact a a Pathfinder family, it is good to let the Pathfinder director know so that he can make the proper arrangements for that to be done without having favoritism or without having other considerations, because we have some rules to follow regarding club safety. And when we are doing that, if you are letting the Pathfinder director know, he will tell you how you can do this the proper way.
Twofold question. First is, during this lockdown time, is it wise to consider starting a Pathfinder club? And the second part of the question had to do with the beginning, where you're starting a Pathfinder club and you have a proposition, or you have a proposal that you need to make. Is there an outline of proposal items to avoid each club making up their own?
I will go with the first question, that is, can we start a Pathfinder club during the COVID situation time? Is that right? Yeah, okay. For that, I will say, yes, you can. I actually have one club that is actually starting right now. And when you are working, for sure, you cannot do inductions for now, but you can still go with the process. Board meetings are still happening, so you can still vote to have a Pathfinder club. The Pathfinder representatives are still working from home, right, Pastor Martin? So you can still, so you can still send the information. And I am still in contact. I am an area coordinator, and I'm still in contact with my clubs. So I talk to this club director really close. We talk often, and I guide her in the steps. And then they are actually working right now on Zoom, but it's just that they don't have the induction yet. That's it.
Yeah, so your first line of contact would be your pastor. And for someone new that's just want to start up, as Sister Vanessa mentioned before, you might know who your area and district are, but certainly your pastor can be your front line, and you can have your pastor contact our conference, Pastor Martin, and our Pathfinder department, and then he'll be able to just bring on board individual coordinators, district that's in your area, and then they'll take it from there, and we can work with you through the process to make sure that all that is required is done.
For the board, it's simple. I come with a first proposal that is, as I have already talked to you and discussed about the need to have a Pathfinder club, what it will bring to the church, and what it will do as a benefit for the Pathfinder club. I do recommend to have a Pathfinder club. Therefore, I propose to have a Pathfinder club in the church. So it's the proposal that they are doing, and then they say, I second that, and then they discuss it, and then they vote, and then it's approved. Once it is approved, I hope it's approved, because if it's not approved, that's another story. But it's approved, and when it's approved, at this time we say, okay, we need to elect a club director and the deputy directors. In my case, when I started the club that I am from in the Ontario, I was the only MasterCard that was there. So as I came with the idea, I was the club director responsible to put everything up. But they might choose someone else to start it, and you might be someone that give recommendation, kind of like a counselors, but they have to elect the club director and the deputies so that you can start. If they don't, you show them in my case, you show them the charter application saying, listen, we want to start a club, but I have the date that we approved to have a Pathfinder club. But as I don't have an elected director, I'm missing some information to send it, because they will send it back to you, that we need to know who the elected director is, because the pastor and the director are the people that the area coordinators are dealing with. We are not talking to other people, we are talking to the director directly. So basically it's to have the club approved, and to also have elected director and club that. You can come with your recommendations that they can take or not take, but usually that is that.
Yeah, and in addition to what Vanessa's saying, again, once you have made that decision, and you now want to, and I think what you're asking more faster is like a checklist. What the next, and she has a step, and we can provide that to you upon request. And so once you have gone to your pastor, you've gone to your pastor, comes to Pastor Martin, as is the easiest person to find through a error coordinator. We will give you, in addition to the steps that Vanessa has presented, a checklist as to what you would need to get started.
We have other options aside from Zoom. Google has improved their, the different apps or platforms that you can use. Google Meet is catching up with Zoom, and they have Google Classroom, Google Suite, and you will be able to make use of that. The challenge is with those without internet. Now, you will serve like a frontliner now as a leader. You just have to suit up, wear the protective gear. If if it is in your heart to serve your young people, you go an extra mile and deliver to their homes, while keeping social distancing rules. So if you just find ways how you can connect during this time of pandemic, so that although church buildings are closed, we are still open, ministry is still going on, but we need committed people who are willing to go an extra mile, be able to face an unseen enemy, but powered and shielded by God's protection, will be able to minister, and people will appreciate your sacrifices because of what you're doing, especially during this time of crisis.
Please remember your area coordinator and your district coordinator, they are your best friends to help you through this process. Contact your conference so that they can let you know who that person is and that they can really guide you through the process. Some of the parts that are in the starting of a new Pathfinder Club, they are worth keeping, like the parent meeting, have them every year and every quarterly if you can, so that you can talk to the parents, know what's going on, and talk to them as well. We just presented how to organize a Pathfinder Club and the Pathfinder committees. Now we will talk about the operating policies. The operating policies are applicable to all Pathfinder clubs, no distinction. So the uniforms. The Pathfinder uniform helps to make the Pathfinder program real and visible. It is emblematic and representative of the worldwide club's ideals and standards. When you see the uniform, you already know that who is part of the Pathfinder Club, regardless of if the shirt is white or khaki, but you do know. Okay, so as we just said, the Pathfinder uniform helps to make the program real and visible, and it represents the club's ideals and standards, and it helps with a sense of belonging to a club, and it should always be neat and clean and worn with enthusiasm. So, question for anybody that can answer: when should we wear the uniform?
Should we wear our uniforms like on events with the conference or like camping trips? Mostly just events that the Pathfinders that we heard from our conference that they organize for Pathfinders.
Thank you. This is the Pathfinder Type A uniform. It should be worn in the conference events, as you said. We have the uniform that is worn at all Pathfinder meetings. So when you have your regular meetings, I think that your club has a t-shirt that is the Club Pathfinder t-shirt, and they wear it with a scarf and the slides. And you also wear the uniform at any public gathering where the Pathfinder act as messengers, ushers, honor guard. This time they wear the Type A uniform, that is the full dress as I am here. And also on occasions specified by directors, and on special Pathfinder service such as induction and investiture, and also for witnessing. When should we not wear the uniform? Can someone give me an example?
So, like when you're going on a camping trip, there are some times where you need to wear your uniform, but then which is your class A uniform, but then you wear your class B uniform, which is a t-shirt representing your conference. Like, for example, if you're going on if you're on a camping trip and you're going on a hike, you'll be wearing your class B uniform, so that way everybody notices your club.
Mm-hmm. And when should you not wear the uniform at all, regardless of it being type B or type A?
It's Sophia, when you're just going out to hang out with your friends.
Excellent, thank you. When you are going on your personal activities, you should not wear the Pathfinder uniform. The uniform should not be worn by non-members. Let's say that you have your little brother or your big sister that is not part of the Pathfinder club. They should not wear your uniform. You should not wear the uniform when you are going to solicit for a personal profit. Let's say that I want to buy, a Pathfinder would not want to buy a car. So let's say I want to buy a phone and I need money. I say, hey, you know what? My Pathfinder club, when they need money for us to go to camp or any other activities, they do fundraising. So basically, I am a Pathfinder. I should be able to do that, right? So I go with my uniform and say, listen, I am a Pathfinder and I need money to buy a personal phone. This is not representative of the club. We should not use the uniform to solicit, to ask money for something that is not Pathfinder club related. And at any time or place where wearing the uniform discredits the organization and makes it a commonplace, we should not wear the uniform. I think that you all have a kind of a list of ideas in your head, so I don't need to give you an example. That's fine. So if I'm talking about the uniform and I'm not talking about the insignia, what are the parts of the uniform that we have that we should wear? Some of them.
The sash.
The sash.
The beret.
The beret, yes.
The belt.
The belt. Mm-hmm.
The scarf.
The scarf. Mm-hmm. The lanyard, the lanyard is applicable only where the lanyard is applicable. Like in Ontario Conference, we have lanyard for each club. So yes, they should wear the lanyard. But if you are talking for everybody, the lanyard is optional. So yes, thank you. There's a skirt or pants, skirts for the girls and ladies and pants for the boys and men. And the girls should have pantyhose, black sheer. In Ontario Conference, I don't know about the other countries. I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking for us here. That's what we have. And the black socks for the guys, and shoes with laces. So for when you have pants for the girls, it's only for camp outside, but not inside the church. So where we are worshiping, we are not, the girls should not wear the pants. The belt, as you said, the shirt, the sash, and the beret, exactly. The insignia. Insignia is anything that we use in the Pathfinder uniform. It's almost universally the same, exceptions only with specific permission from the World Pathfinder headquarters. So if you were at Camp Orier and you had fun to look at all the different uniforms that we have, you will see that on the sleeves, there were not much change that we could observe, but on the left pocket and on the sash, there is a difference when we are looking at the conferences. So remember, exceptions are allowed only with the specific permission for the World Pathfinder headquarters, and we have the conference that give us the policies and procedures on what to wear and how to wear the uniform. In Ontario, when we want to order the insignia for the Pathfinders and for our staff, it is important to contact the conference office to have the proper credentials to place an order. So here it's basically it's the director that has the code to order, and the other members, they do. Insignia, we have two types of insignia. The identification one, and we have the recognition award insignia. The identification, it's about the emblems that signify the organization to which the person belongs to. So if I'm looking to my logo here, to my conference patch, it tells me where I belong to. If I'm looking to my pins, it is more a recognition or award insignia because of the classes that I have completed. So we will go quickly about the position of the insignia on the sleeves. On the right sleeve, we have the club name or the conference name for people that are area, district, and executive. And when someone has a position, it goes right below it. And if it is a Pathfinder, they have directly below, with a proper distance, the triangle for the Pathfinder club. On the left side, that you have the conference patch. Our conference patch is red. It's really beautiful. We have an Ontario patch, and we have the classes that have been achieved by the Pathfinders. In the case of Master Guides, if you have not done all the classes, you have only the star, and if you have done all the classes, you have all the patches that goes with that. These are the insignia. So I have some questions for you. The left pocket is something that is always problematic from my point of view, because we have the position of the baptism pin. Where should we position the baptism pin?
On your left pocket.
Left pocket, but where? On your left side?
Left. Close to your heart.
Close to your heart. So that would be below my friend. I don't know if you see my friend pocket, but below the friend one that I have, or in the middle? Or
It's
at the
below
top?
the friend. It's below the friend, right?
It's below the friend. In Ontario Conference, it's below the friend. And all the pins for the classes, they are aligned with the button that you have for your pocket. And what is the position of the PBE pin?
Oh, I don't know. Position B.
Where is it, Gloria?
Position B.
Position.
It's right under the red pin.
Yes, right under the red pin, exactly. And the class name, it's easy for everybody. It's at the top of the pocket. And what else do we have at the top of the pocket? Come on, guys, I know you know it.
Achievement pins.
Advanced pins.
The achievement pins.
Advancement classes, yes, and the ribbon. Thank you. So what do we find on the sash?
Honors.
Honors.
Any pins that you may have gotten from any like camporees?
No.
Camporee patches.
Okay.
No.
Camporee patch goes at the back.
Honor patch.
At the front of your sash.
Of the
honors.
Honors patches.
At the front of your sash, it's your honors and your tag name if you're wearing the sash. At the back, you can have your temporary sash, your temporary patch. But honors, the first place for the honors is at the front of your sash. Okay, we go to another part that is finances. Money, money, money. Who is taking care of the finances of the club?
Treasurer.
The treasurer. If you don't have a treasurer, you should have one. And if you are the Pathfinder director, you are working closely with the Pathfinder, with your treasurer. The Pathfinder ministry involves a great deal of expense in operating a successful Pathfinder club. Proper planning for the year comes in handy at this level too, to make sure that the funds are carefully managed when operating the club. Any money received by the club should go to the church treasurer. I will repeat, any amount of money that you receive in the club should go to the church treasurer. And he or she should give you a receipt so that you know that you gave this amount of money and you have this amount of money on your account in the church. It will protect you as a club, and it will protect the church as well when you are getting audited. What are the sources of income of a Pathfinder club? Annual membership. Annual membership fees, this should be a small amount that each Pathfinder is expected to pay for the membership yearly. It should not prevent a Pathfinder to be part of the club because the amount is too large. Let's say that you have a club that is asking for $200, you will have a lot of Pathfinders that cannot be part of it. But if it is $50, $60, that's something that is achievable for a year. Just an idea, in Canadian dollar I'm talking, I don't know for the rest of it, sorry. We have another part that is a church subsidy. That part is related to stewardship. The church must include the Pathfinder Club in the church budget by contributing a regular amount towards the club expenses. If it has not yet been addressed in your local church, now is a good time to start. Offerings. The offerings. When we have Pathfinder meetings, we can ask for offerings. And when we are taking offerings, this amount is not for local club expense. This amount is for evangelistic outreach. So when you have in your Pathfinder meetings money that is given as offerings, don't use it for your local expenses, use it for a missionary activity. Another one is sponsorship by church members. I love that one. When you have church members, whether they have Pathfinders in the club or not, and they are willing to sponsor a Pathfinder child or 2 or 3, or even sponsor the club, this is a big amount of money that comes as well. So it is important to advertise for the Pathfinder Club activities. Let the church know what is going on in your church, in your club, and let them know what your needs are so that they can help you guys. Because when they see the results, they see what the money is about, and they see that they are in their own way ministering to the children, to the Pathfinders that are children as well. Another part is special projects. When you have special projects, let's say that you want to replace your equipment, you need to do fundraising, you ask the Pathfinders to be part of it. They will help you plan the fundraising, do it, and they will feel that they did something. And as they did something, they will have more care for the equipment that they helped to buy. And of course, we always have our fundraising campaigns. Where would we be without our fundraising campaigns? When we want to go to Camporee, we need fundraising. When we want to do a lot of activities to complete our budget, we need fundraising. So fundraising is a good part of our revenue, as well as it is submitted to some policies and guidelines. Make sure to know what the guidelines are and what the policies are while you are working on it. We have the budget. We talked about the budget. This is an example. Please don't take it at heart like it is the right amount, because if you look at the insurance, our insurance is $4.50. It's not $1. So please, it's just to let you see what you should expect. It's a sample. Thank you. So club income, you can take into club income the dues, the sponsors, the Pathfinder offerings, the club project, the church subsidy, let's say for $3,850. And your club expenses, you have to list them as well. When you are paying for crafts, for clerical, like stamps, envelopes, and things like that, public relations, camera, bulletin board, induction, we need candles, refreshments, and other accessories that we need for the club, camp out, travel, auto maintenance if there is one, Pathfinder insurance, administration expensive, staff orientation, because each year you are encouraged to do a Pathfinder basic staff training or be part of the Pathfinder convention that we have. So please make sure that you take it into consideration as well. And other equipment, awards, everything should be listed in your budget so that they know that the amount that you received is the amount that you spend. It is always better to spend the exact amount or to spend less than to spend more, because if you spend more, you will have to work hard to have this money back and adjust your budget for next year. So we talked about this, and now I have a kind of a small discussion for you, and I will invite you to list and discuss 5 points to take into consideration when planning a fundraising for the Pathfinder Club. It can be financial, and it can be a moral consideration as well that you have to take into consideration, because when you are doing fundraising, there's a lot to think about to make sure that the fundraising is appropriate for the Pathfinder clubs and for the Pathfinder value. And I will need you also to give me an example of fundraising that you consider that is appropriate and why, and an example of fundraising that you do not consider that is appropriate, and also explain why. So reporting. What is reporting? Reporting is the act to report, to record the club's activities. It is really important because we have to know what the attendance is when we have a lot of Pathfinders or not a lot of Pathfinders, to know who has been there for 80% of the time, 100% of the time, who is absent and why, who is sick and how and why. That helps us to track records of the Pathfinders and also of the activities that we are doing. As a Pathfinder club, we are obliged to respect the values and principles that we have, and we have some policies and procedures, and we have some aspects that we have to make sure that we teach the Pathfinders about. Let's say outreach, spiritual development, personal growth, love of nature, anything else that is there. We have to make sure that our program represent all of that. I think it will be presented in the next module that will be presented this afternoon, so I won't go in that part. We are going in the records, we are keeping track of all of this so that we can see what we covered, what we didn't, and how to do better each time that we go. So why is it important? We just talked about it, because at the same time we need to keep tracks of the Pathfinders. They have been invested for friend and companion. They didn't do they didn't do ranger and voyager, but they are guide. You need to know that so that you don't give the pin for just like that, because you can have a Pathfinder that come, oh, I got that one, but they didn't get it because you didn't have the record. So they have to do the classwork in order to have it again. So who is doing the reporting in the club? Can someone answer me? Who's doing the reporting in the club?
Your instructor, right? The person in charge of the whole Pathfinder club.
The instructor is doing the record of their class.
The secretary.
Right.
Secretary.
But the secretary is in charge of everything. Thank you, Pachel. Pachel is our secretary, so she knows what we are talking about. So the secretary takes care of all the records that we have: attendance, Pathfinder registration, Pathfinder club registration, all the Pathfinder consent form, anything that goes to the secretary.
What if you don't have a secretary? Would you then give it to your instructor?
You name a secretary. That can be a deputy if you want to, but you have to have a secretary. A secretary is really important, and a treasurer is really important. And if, as a Pathfinder director, you have the idea that you can manage both of them, I'm sorry to say it live, but this is a lie. I have been a Pathfinder director for more than 10 years. There's no way that you can do that, either for a small club or a big club. You need to separate them so that it is clear, and that everybody that everything is clear. Every position is clearly defined, so that when you are looking for something, you have people that can give them to you. So the purpose of reporting is that all clubs worldwide have a systematic pattern to follow over a given period. The worldwide program operates on a special scoring plan adapted to suit the particular need of each division, union, and conference. So reporting, to whom should the reports be addressed? For people who are not from the Ontario Conference, I invite you to contact your conference to know what to do. But for us, when you are sending your reports, the Ontario Conference Pathfinder Office should receive it. When I say Ontario Conference Pathfinder Office, the executive coordinator, the conference secretary, and us two, area and district coordinators, we should receive it, as well as your club director that can confirm that you have sent the Pathfinder monthly reports as we are doing it. Well, I just said it. How often should they be reported? Monthly. And you have until the 10th of the following month to produce this document. Don't look at it as a chore, because when you have it in the conference, if you are losing it somewhere and something happened, you can still contact the conference and have it back. So take it as a second hard drive saving or online drive if you want, because even in your email, you will be able to find it. And the next part is, how can you find the special report form? This form, you can contact you can contact Pathfinders at AdventistOntario.org to have it, or you can go on the website. If it's not on the website, you contact the Pathfinders at the Ontario Conference office and they will give it to you. If you don't find it, contact your area coordinator and he or she will be able to do the proper procedures to have it and to give it to you. So what should be reported? I'm repeating that again. The club activities according to the Pathfinder plan, all the particular areas in the club that needs to be cared for on a regular basis. Regular meeting attendance, induction, investiture, baptism, camps, conference, sponsored events that your club has attended to, and even when you have your own personal meetings, when you are visiting other clubs, everything should be recorded. Can someone please turn the microphone? Thank you. Okay, this is the example of the Ontario Conference Pathfinder Council, the monthly report. I will not go through it with you, but as you see, there's a lot of parts that are in it, and there's an explicative, there's a document, there's a second page that explains how to fill out the document. So if you have regular club meetings, if you have 4 meetings, it's 40 points. If you have only 2 meetings and that is your regular meetings, you will have to enter it. If you have extra meetings, you enter it. You have, when the secretary knows the attendance of everyone, they can make an average and know how much the percentage is, and if you have staff meeting during the month, and how many people have the type A uniform, how many people have the type B uniform, outreach activities, induction investitures, and so on. So that is what we have in the Ontario Conference. For the other conferences, I invite you to check with your conferences, with your respective conferences, to have the proper documentation. And the scoring plan. The scoring plan is what is used to verify the activities that are done in the clubs, like that are common to the club. Points are allocated for the fulfillment of each requirement, and the points are calculated annually, and each club is awarded in accordance with its attainment. In Ontario, we have first place, second place, third place. That's it. There is no place, we have the 3 of them. So that is what we have here. So that is time for us to have a few questions.
My question is in regards to the wearing of the different insignias.
Yes.
When a Pathfinder, when you complete all the different classes, you then wear the full insignia. What if you have a staff who became a master guide, but have taught all the other classes? Are they permitted to wear the full insignia? Thank you.
The individual that's invested as a master guide should replace all the classes with the star, and the star is placed on the sleeve. They should not be wearing the chevrons for the Pathfinder. They're no longer Pathfinders. The pins are the only thing Pathfinder that we wear, but the star would replace any chevron on the sleeve. once they have completed all the classes, then they would have the chevron and what the star on one bar that would go on the sleeve.
Hello, from Jakarta. Good morning.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to ask because it happens many times in our club here in Indonesia, especially in Jakarta. Can we invite someone who is non-Adventist or non-master guide to give, you know, like some kind of materials into the awards or honors that we are not capable of? Can we invite them?
When you are inviting someone that is not part of the church, you have a lot of consideration to take into that, because if you are looking at our policies, I think that will be presented in club safety. But when someone is about to work in the club, they should be around for 6 months per policy. So during 6 months, they are not doing anything in the church, in the club directly with pathfinders. So you are observing this person. But when it's someone that has a personal, a professional
occupation.
Yes, and that can be helpful. You will need to go with that. I would recommend that you go to the church, but to let them know, one, that you are inviting this person in this capacity. And you have to be careful as well to make sure that you let this person know what are our principles and values, so that they don't share something that is against our values. We will proceed for the next section of the presentation, that is about membership. For the next part, it's about membership. We have a video for you that is a courtesy of the Florida conference. That it is a video that I have seen in one of the last Pathfinder camporees, and I think that it's a good way to introduce the membership part again. I invite you to watch it, and then we will discuss membership part, and then after that we will discuss insurance, and that will be the end of the presentation. Okay, as we are talking about Pathfinder membership, what part of the video got your attention and why? What does it mean to be a part of the Pathfinder Club, regardless as you are a staff member or if someone is a Pathfinder? What does it mean to be a part of the Pathfinder Club? When I said, what does it mean to be a part of the Pathfinder Club, I should have said, what does it mean to be part of the Pathfinder ministry? Because pathfindering is a ministry. We are a family, we are a community, but we also have a message and we also have a work to do. For me personally, pathfindering, just like the adventurers, is a ministry where we can do everything. Evangelism, outreach, anything possible. And as leaders, it is our responsibility to go out of our comfort zones so that we can help the pathfinders blossom and be the Christian and be the person that they should become. For me, it is one of the best and one of the most important ministry in the church. And personally, it worked for me, and I am an advocate for that. And if I'm talking with you now and I'm shy as it is not possible and I don't like cameras, it is because of Pathfinder ministry and what it has done for me. So what requirements should a Pathfinder, someone that is between age 10 and 15, have to be part of this club? A Pathfinder, an applicant should be in grade 5 or at least 10 years of age, because each year goes with, the book goes with each year's mentality. You will see that in the teaching I think it's June 14, next Sunday, so when they will talk about it, but each year goes with a book. So it is important that we respect the age that the Pathfinders are, between 10 and 15. That is our range of, I don't like to say work, ministry, that is better. The applicant form must be completed and submitted before induction. I know I talked about them already, the forms, but we come back to that again. If we don't have the proper documentation, we cannot proceed. As an area coordinator, we have to make sure that you are up and running in the proper way, so that if something happens, we are sure that we have done our best to make sure that our kids are safely taken care of, and what happened wasn't because of negligence, but because it's something that happened. All members must pay membership and insurance fee. Anything that is free, people kind of take it, don't appreciate it the same as if they have put money in it. So when Pathfinders, when we have a membership fee that the Pathfinders are paying, it helps them to feel more responsible. And insurance fees is important. It's $4.50 for us here in Ontario Conference, and every single Pathfinder, every single member of the staff, they should have this amount paid when you are doing the yearly registration. And if you have some Pathfinders or some staff that are coming in the middle of the year, you have to send another form with only this information and this payment, so that you make sure that everybody is covered. So it is really important to have your membership, so that even your church board has the list of staff that you have and the list of Pathfinders that you have in your club. Should something happen, we don't wish for it, they will have the church clerk or secretary for it. She should have this information. Each Pathfinder should have and should wear their type A and type B uniform. The type B uniform is the t-shirt with the scarf that we wear, and the type A is the one that we presented before. Members must be faithful in attendance and participation in programs, local and conference sponsored. Discipline may be applied. If you have someone that is Pathfinder homeschooling, let your area know, because we need to know what's going on, because kids need to be in attendance in the club. Membership. So Pathfinder must learn and keep the law and pledge. I know them in French and I'm still working on my English one, but Pathfinders should know them like that. Pathfinder must agree to participate in various club activities such as camp out, workout, outreach, outings, fundraising, and regular club meetings. Some of these activities might feel out of their comfort zone, but we are working out of our comfort zone, because we learn a lot when we are out of there too. So please encourage them to participate in the activities. All elected directors and staff are also members of the club by virtue of their office. So to the MIT that talked to earlier, welcome, but you are still part of the Pathfinder ministry. So that's good. Other information about membership. The your collaboration with the parents should be something that you cultivate, because you need to have parents that are cooperating with you. When you have parents that are cooperating, your work is easier. When you have someone that is against you, well, let's say I just don't wish you that. So they also contribute with their money and their time. What I love to do is that when a parent tells me that they cannot be there every Sunday or every 2 Sundays or 1 Sunday in the month, I ask them what can they do. Some of them, they can go with us when we have outings. How can the parents be involved in the Pathfinder ministry? When you have a parent that is involved in the ministry, the Pathfinders see it as, oh, this is important for my parent, so that must be something that is important. But if the parent is not there, but the parent is there on the soccer championship and anything that they are doing outside of the church, and they are not working with us, then we see church is not important. So it's all about what we are teaching the kids, whether with our actions or with our words. So think about it. Parents, you need their collaboration, and let them understand that, yes, we do need the money, but we also need their time and their collaboration. So as we go with that, we will go to the other part, that is insurance. With the membership of Pathfinders and staff come the responsibility that all of us, absolutely all of us as leaders we have, and that is the duty to care. Duty to care. While the spiritual welfare of our youth is the prime motivation of all who engage in youth leadership, the physical welfare of our boys and girls is of utmost importance. Leaders must accept the moral obligation of protecting from physical injury those who are under their care. So we have to always aim to have an injury-free program. So we have to check the premises, the equipment, we have to have proper supervision, and assess the type of activities that we have. So injury-free program, the provision of insurance that we have from the conference must not encourage us to be negligent in what we have to do to make sure that our program is fit for the Pathfinder ministry. Youth leaders, you must educate yourselves to observe and recognize potential hazards. If you are a youth leader or counselor, you are in a position of trust to the children under your care, and you cannot delegate your legal or your moral duty of care. You must become proficient yourself in the skills required by the adventures your club promotes. If you have not the specialization that it takes, and you cannot find someone that has the specialization that it takes, or you cannot find a location that has a specialization that it takes to do this activity, don't do it. Premises and equipment. Premises is about everything that is physical as location, but now I think that we have to consider online as well. So camping places, halls, and anything that has hazards, you have to make sure that all hazards are being addressed. If the Pathfinders are coming and I have the word in French, sorry, and the floor is slippery, it's a problem. Here we have snow. If it's icy, and then you have a Pathfinder meeting and you don't take care of the ice at the interest of your location, that is something that you have to take into consideration when you are having activities. We have to make sure that the premises are clear and safe for our Pathfinders. Equipment. Is all equipment in good repair? Is it safe? Is safety equipment suited for the activity always provided? We always have to think about safety first. So equipment, we have to make sure. If we are going swimming, I'm telling you, you can have a Pathfinder that look you in the eye and that say, I can swim. And you put this Pathfinder in the water and you see that clearly they cannot swim. Do you have to be able to assess? And when you test and you see that this is not the case, you either remove or give them a safety jacket. Supervision. We have a policy, we have the Code of Protection of Children, the one that every single person that is working as a staff has to sign. I think that it will be presented in club safety. So the supervision has to be done properly. We have the 2 adult policy. 2 adults have to be present at any time when we are talking with the kid, and the open door policy. So we have them. I will let them for the club safety to address this presentation, but you have to know that regarding of insurance, it has to be considered. Type of activities. Which type of activities are you having? Are you having a high risk activity, or do you consider that this activity is low risk? If it is high risk, what should you, and if it is high risk and you are deciding to go along with that, what should you take into consideration? What safety equipment that you should have? What research that you have to do? Anything. You have to be overly detailed to make sure that you cover as much aspects as you can. So the activity should be suitable for the age group involved and the personal ability and experience of supervisors. If you have no one that is a lifesaver regarding swimming, you cannot go swim, that's all. If I just know how to swim, but I don't know how to save people, I cannot have an activity where I don't have anybody that can do that. Makes sense, but we have to think about it. Insurance. That is question to consider. Is the proposed activity essential, desirable, or is it of no practical benefit? And if it is essential or desirable, is it low risk or reasonable risk or high risk? Is the risk factor acceptable or unacceptable? Is the supervision available adequate in number, sufficiently skilled? Is the necessary equipment in good order, unsafe in any way? Is adequate safety equipment available, unavailable? These are all questions that we have to ask ourselves regarding all that. And when we have, in case of an injury, we have to make sure that we take the proper steps. We render first aid if necessary, when necessary, and we obtain skilled professional care if needed. If the injured party must be transported, call for ambulance, inform parents and guardians as soon as possible, complete an incident report, send incident reports and eyewitness statement to risk management service through your conference secretary, treasurer. You have to do that. Failure to notify the insurers can result in a later claim being refused. In the event of serious injury or death, notify the risk management service immediately by telephone, fax, or email. If any claims are made, report such claims immediately. If they are in writing, you have to keep a copy and forward the originals to the risk management service. You have to cooperate fully with the risk management service and in any loss investigator appointed by the insurers. Immediately forward the original of the correspondence you receive in connection with the claim. You always have to provide the utmost sympathy and support for the person injured and her relatives. But please, there are some things that you cannot do. You cannot admit liability for the injury. This is of utmost importance. If you admit liability, the insurers may consider that a breach of the policy conditions and refuse to be involved. If this happens, each of the individuals that are named in the claim will be personally liable for any damages that are awarded. Do not express opinions in the incident report. You have to report only the facts and only the facts, and your eyewitnesses as well. And please make no offers or promises to the injured party. When we are when we are giving support, we tend to want to give a promise or to make offers. Do not do that. That would cancel the insurance responsibility as well. Accidents will happen. Injuries will be sustained, but don't let them happen through your negligence in allowing the use of dangerous premises or faulty equipment or lack of skilled and adequate supervision. You have accepted the role of leader or counselor because you are interested in the spiritual welfare of the children of our church. Their physical well-being is of equal importance.